Enjoy the convenience of 7 days a week banking and extended hours with Cube from First Arkansas Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Welcome into the zone, everybody, on a fantastic Friday with the wizard, Christian Weaver, and the pigskin preacher. I'm Pat Bradley, and we're back, gentlemen. We are back in business. It's good to be with you guys.
Patrick, how are you?
I'm great. My pigskin brother. I can hear you.
I'm glad, man.
But I think you're on the other microphone.
Am I on the wrong mic?
My favorite brother.
Yeah, you're on the wrong mic. Pull this one over here. Pull that one over
All right,
here. That'll probably work better.
I'll use the mic that moves to the left, Pat. You remember in the Pat Bradley Memorial Chair in which I'm sitting, that microphone drifts to the left. It'd be like if you went out on a float in the Atlantic Ocean, and then 3 hours later, you're in Nova Scotia. That's what happens.
Oh, it moved, Jerry. It moved. There's no doubt about it. It went down and to the left. To the left.
So what is the weather in Beantown these days?
Oh, man, you know, I know it's been crazy probably everywhere with heat waves, rain, and it's been rainy here. Of course, I was just visiting RB2, Rich Bradley 2, and RB3, Rich Bradley 3.
That's right.
Down in the Everglades of Florida. Pigskin, when I tell you. Wizard. So I guess, you know, I'm thinking of, like, questions of the day, and a lot of things are running through my mind. Something that just hit me was, and I got in this conversation earlier in the week, what is the unique animal, I'll call wild animal, that is unique to each area of the country? And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So a few months ago, okay, I'm in Beantown. I'm minding my own business.
Of course you are.
I'm not bothering anybody.
Not anybody.
I hear this squawking. Squawk, squawk, squawk. I look out the window. I got a video of it. I probably should post it. I'm not joking. There's a turkey 5 feet tall squawking up the road. On the street. Wizard, this guy is like, get out, you guys took my, turkey friends' probably land and build your houses on them. So you see a lot of turkeys, legit turkey, tom turkey and the rest walking up and down the streets of New England. I'm in Florida. 40-pound iguanas.
Oh my goodness.
Walking around the streets. I'm talking just walking the streets like it's iguana land. It's unbelievable.
That's like a baby alligator almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pigs. I got video of that too.
And they're not native to Florida. They were released by people, and now they've kind of overran the ecosystem.
Pat, you'll appreciate this as a former collegiate basketball player. One of those holiday tournaments, like in December or something, they go to the Bahamas or Hawaii or wherever, Maui Classic, that kind of stuff. They were playing a few years ago, I think it was down in Mexico at some place, at some big resort. And there were a bunch of basketball players. They were really fascinated by these iguanas. Like you said, these giant 20, 30, 40-pound iguanas. So this dude's going to pose and get a picture taken. So he, reaches out to pet the iguana on top of the head. The iguana just takes a chunk out of his hand, man.
Stop.
You can't pet don't pet the iguana, man. They'll bite.
No, I was riding my bike, minding my own business.
He could have knocked you off that bike. He was so big.
He was so big, whipped his tail, and it was. So I'm thinking, what is a unique animal? Like, I'm thinking, what do we have in the state of Arkansas?
We got bears.
Deer,
there are bears.
Bears.
There's not a ton of them, though.
There's not a lot. There's just a few, but there's some
Although
bears here.
I have seen, video of folks will post something in their backyard. They'll be like, "Hey, look who showed up!"
They got
a bear.
They got
the
elk herd over at Boxley. There's some of those. I'll tell you, Pat. For my money, my favorite North American animal is the coyote. They are genius at surviving. They used to be out west, and the government and ranchers and everybody tried to eradicate them because they're eating chickens and sheep and all that. Well, what they've done, they've just moved to other places. They've moved to the north. They've moved to the east. You got pictures of them in Chicago and Boston and New York City. They're everywhere. They're in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
One of the
the coyotes, they're fantastic.
One of the big issues in this day and age, everybody wants to get a dog, but they don't want a real dog. They want a little tiny dog, right?
Little frou-frou dog.
Little frou-frou dog. But you know what you can't do?
Can't leave them out there by themselves. No, you
the
can't.
coyotes come and get them.
They will pick them off, my brother.
Pick them right off.
Yes,
I
they
didn't
will.
know. I had no idea. Didn't know this. So the wife says, I want a dog. I go, ha, 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 good one. Really good one. A dog. I go, we can't even take care of ourselves. We got to get a dog. So we get a dog. And, I'm like, yeah, just let the dog out to pee in the backyard.
So what kind of dog is this?
A Labradoodle.
Okay, so it's
a
not
decently sized
It's
dog,
not
yeah.
tiny, but it's good medium size.
Maybe like 40 pounds.
It's like a
30 pounds,
It's like
maybe?
a 6'3" shooting guard of dogs. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So you can't just get the dog. Now you got to get this whole fence project done in the backyard so a coyote doesn't go and attack the dog and
That's
do
it.
all these. I'm like, what is the point? When we were growing up, a dog was just a dog in the backyard or wandering the streets. We had. I think about it now. I don't know. I'm sure Pigskin, of this age, and Wizard, you're a little bit younger, and I'm sure a lot of listeners. You remember how many stray dogs there were roaming the streets?
Well, Pat, think about
years
this.
ago.
The plight of the loyal dog is akin to that of the soft American. We used to be tough. We used to raise
you're
people
right.
that were industrious
Rougher.
and thrifty
Rougher
and rough.
people.
I mean, I'd
Yeah.
take my bike and ride across the city of Flint. I mean, major intersections to go play baseball at my baseball games.
And on the way, you'd probably nail in some and work on some construction site just because.
I would fill in the ditch while I was
Fill in
there.
the
I would
ditch
help
just
the construction
because.
guys. I would be balancing a glove in one hand and a Slurpee on the other while riding my 10-speed as a fifth grader. And you got parents now, they won't even let their kids go outside and play in the cul-de-sac. That's
think about what kids in Wizard. How old are you, Wizard?
25.
Christian Weather, the Wizard. Do you know, Wizard, growing up, for toys, we would get tool sets. Remember that, Pigskin? I remember I got a saw one year. I'm not even joking.
It's not even safe.
I was like 7, and I took that saw, and I mean, everything I saw, I
You
was
saw
cutting
this
up.
and saw that.
I saw this and saw. And think about it though, that's crazy. I got my nephew a tool set. Of course, it's made out of sponge, but still, it's just. You're right. It was a little rougher.
The dogs today, they're pampered.
Oh.
They're
They're not even
cosseted.
dogs!
They're on the couch. You can get your pet medication delivered. We didn't even have pet medication. The dogs ate what they would kill. And, now these dogs are sitting on the couch and they're watching The View and they're eating cookies. And dogs
Think
didn't
about
used to
this.
be like that.
I had to add our dog to our insurance plan. What are you kidding me?
You got another
What?
dependent,
Are you
PB.
kid-
That's
are you
good.
kid-
Claim that hound on your taxes.
I mean, it's unbelievable. He does have a Razorback shirt, though. I'm very proud of him to wear that Razorback shirt.
Well, you got to send me a picture. Text me a picture of your dog. I got to see this. I get a visual.
I lost out on the naming of them.
What'd you
I
name-
like.
What's the name?
I like human names for dogs. George,
Ralph?
Yeah.
Tony, Ralph. So yet there is. He is the 2 millionth Rocky out there. You go to walk and we go, Rocky. There's
See,
like
I'm kind
100
of
dogs come
with
running
you on
through.
the human names. My dog is named Mavis after Mavis Staples, the great
Okay, yeah.
soul
Oh,
singer.
yeah.
My son Nathan's dog is named Kevin.
See,
Kevin
I
Bacon.
like
That's
dog
a
names
good name,
for humans.
Kevin. Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah, Rex.
I like dog name for humans. Yeah, Rex, Spike, Spot.
Spike is a good name, isn't it?
Spike is
That was
good
Fon.
for-
That was the Fonz's nephew on Happy Days, Christian.
Spike
Spike.
Albrecht, right?
Spike
Albrecht.
Albrecht. He throws
that-
in all those threes in the national
Yeah.
championship game, and then he tries to parlay that into a date with Kate Upton.
Right.
It didn't happen, but you have to admire the boy's
Was she already married?
chutzpah. I don't think she was married at that time. I think she was still single.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think, now, Pigskin, you've got how many kids?
2.
Wizard, you got any?
I got 1.
Okay. Do you name your kids in the hopes of what they would become? Like, how significant is that name? Like Nathan, did you want him to take that name?
He could be an Old Testament prophet, like
right?
yeah.
Is that how you did?
Well,
like,
that was actually
that
was my wife's call, and I named mine after myself because I was named after my dad, and he was named after his dad. We're trying to get like 8 or 10 of them. Charleses in a row,
like George Foreman.
Exactly, George V, George VIII, that sort of thing. Now, if you had a kid and he was named Clarence Darrow, he better be a lawyer. I'll tell you a funny story about that. We're watching a Travs game a few years ago, and the guy comes out to sing the national anthem. So the fella says, "To honor America, will you please rise, gentlemen, remove your hats, and join in the singing of our national anthem with Little Rock recording artist Steve Perry."
Little Rock recording art?
Little Rock recording.
This isn't Journey, Steve Perry.
This is not the Journey, Steve Perry. So my brother, about as loudly as you can imagine, starts singing "Should Have Been Gone." He starts singing "Oh Sherry," should have been gone.
Yeah.
And this dude turns around and shoots us a look. That's the hardest I've ever. I was like Michael Jordan when Carl Lewis sang the national anthem, putting my hands over my face to keep from laughing. And so then this dude finishes up and he shoots us a look. I'm like, dude, your name's Steve Perry. You're a singer. You got to have a thin skin about that. That's what PB is saying here. Do you name your kid something you want him to aspire to? Yeah.
Listen, you're putting a lot on your kid.
Exactly. Well, if you had a kid and he was named, Larry Joe Bird Bradley, okay? Well, he better be able to shoot the 3. That's all I'm saying.
He better have a big nose. He better have floppy socks, floppy hair, and shoot the 3.
And he better drink a PBR. That's right.
Yes, in the Miller Lite, both one in one hand, one in the other. I was named after Patrick Henry, the great orator.
Give me liberty or give me death.
Give me death. That's right.
That's a solid name, man.
So dang stubborn.
So who is Rich named after?
My father.
There you go. I mean, every family's got one of those. I'm that, in my family.
Yep.
So
yep.
Do any of your kids name after somebody?
Not yet. My son had a girl. My oldest son had a girl and named her Maxine. We call her Max, the Mighty Max, like Max Weinberg. The drummer for Bruce Springsteen in the E Street Band.
So I'm Christian. I'm the first Christian in the family. They just like the name, so they gave me that. And then my son is named Titus. And I just like the name Titus.
That's a really good name, by the way.
Gave him the name Titus.
American Gladiator.
Titus was a Roman emperor.
Yes.
Who conquered Jerusalem. So, yeah,
I was going with Titus, the former American Gladiator from the TV show.
Well, I was thinking of Christopher Titus, the comedian. He was.
There you go.
He had his 15 minutes of fame a few years ago. Titus is a solid name,
He had a sitcom.
Yeah. I'll tell you another name for those of you out there contemplating having offspring. Tyrus, like Ty Cobb, then you could call him Ty.
Maybe
Ty
not
Webb
him
from
after
Caddy.
Ty Cobb.
Well,
he wasn't the greatest
Cobb
of human beings.
Much of that is overblown, Christian. That was because of Al Stump. He decided to single-handedly ruin the man's reputation. Cobb was not a cuddly person, but he wasn't, Hitler and drag either. So, yeah.
Which nobody likes. We do have a fun, informative, entertaining show. Controversial at some moments. Chris Doring. He got to be always controversial.
He was a receiver, wasn't he?
Florida. Yeah,
a pretty good
All
receiver.
SEC.
He was in the Fun and Gun
SEC.
when they were throwing the ball all over the place.
Big kid. He's still in great shape.
Was his quarterback Werfel?
I think Werfel threw to him, yeah.
Because he was mid 90s, I believe, late 90s. He's going to join us at 10:30 break.
Awesome.
Talk everything. SEC football media days next week. We'll talk. I do want to ask about the dumb horns down situation. I mean, come on. Here's my argument.
Could Texas be softer than Charmin with this?
Here's Pigskin.
Yeah.
Here's my argument. There would be no horns down if they didn't throw horns up in your face.
Thank you.
They started it.
That would be like mocking the tomahawk chop for Florida State.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing it all the time. You're going to get mocked for doing it. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe a human being, an adult human being, actually said what that Big 12 commissioner said. I can't believe adults actually this goes through their brains. I need somebody to help me with
Again, Pat, per our discussion just a few minutes ago, we're getting so soft.
Yeah,
They
you're
made fun of the Longhorns. They made a gesture. It's like, man up, SA. What's your deal?
And I didn't realize that there was this epidemic of football players, opponents of Texas, running up to them and going, horns down, ah. I mean, like David Putty and the devil wearing his devil
Exactly.
outfit.
I will say this. Texas and Michigan have a lot of similarities. They both have a glorious past. They both have a pretty mediocre presence. And if both fan bases that are kind of arrogant, if they're ever good again, heaven help us all. Because right now they're not that good. Michigan and Texas are kind of the same thing. They get their brains beat in by their arch rival in their conference, and they think they're better than they are. That's kind of Michigan and Texas, yeah.
If when they do become that good,
if they ever become good,
out.
everybody else just needs to go into hiding for a couple of years, yeah, because they'll be insufferable. That's right.
Oh, it'd be like Patriots fans.
Precisely.
It'd be
As PB likes to say, Christian, they hate us because what, Pat?
because they ain't us.
They ain't us. That's it.
Currently, you're kind of like Cowboys fans.
Boy, Cowboys fans are very similar to that. They had a great past, but what have they done in 25 years?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Do you think there is a ranking of the most hated teams?
Oh, there's
or
gotta
is it
be.
just based off of?
I
'Cause
would
you've got
bet
Duke.
that the three of us in sports in general, we could come up with consensus on 9 of the 10 most hated sports teams and franchises. We could.
Yeah.
I've got a list.
That'd be easy. Well, we'll throw a few at us. Pat just mentioned Duke. Duke is always there.
The line of, I don't know if I'm using this word correctly, demarcation, I'm probably not, I realized is somewhere in Little Rock. Lakers Celtics, Yankees Red Sox.
Yep.
So there's a lot of, I know there's a lot of St. Louis Cardinals fans, but obviously I hate the Yankees. And you either love them or hate them.
You got to hate the Yankees.
You got it. I mean,
I'm amazed at
LeBron-
all these people that like the Yankees. Why would you like the Yankees? Unless you're from New York or something.
Exactly.
They win too much, okay? I'm not even a big Boston fan, but nobody was rooting harder for Boston than I was when they finally, broke the curse. That was inspirational.
I still weep at that documentary.
Oh, it was amazing.
Do you want to know the most amazing part of this? And I know this is self-serving. I'm talking about it. However, great documentary. They won those 4 games in a row, 4 days in a row.
They did. They
was
did. Unlike
insane.
the NBA Finals, they didn't play a game and take a week off and go to Bermuda and then come back and play game 2. Yeah.
Chris Paul needs about a month off, okay?
He looked a little tired in game 4, didn't he?
He looked off,
Oh,
man.
man, he
and
was
I
ragged.
get it.
Yeah.
Listen, I said it before. I don't have anything else to do. I'll wait. You want me to wait 3 days for a game? Okay. I'll wait 4 days. I mean, I'm just chilling, doing some yard work in between games, so whatever.
I just think it's kind of odd because during the season they're like, okay, we're going to play 4 games in
Back
6
to back
nights.
to back,
Yeah,
exactly.
We're going to play 4 games
Right.
in 6 nights, and now we get to the finals. They're like, oh, we'll just take 3 days in between.
Well, they compress the season too much. I mean,
Too many games,
They're gonna have
short
to.
time.
They're gonna have to work that out.
Well, now it's going back to regular, and they'll start in October, and they'll just run until June, pretty much.
So that's what I was curious. Yeah, when are they gonna get everything back?
Yeah, they announced, I think it was last week, that it's just going to go back to normal. So
Okay. I don't see you guys don't ever see them going less than 82 game schedule for the NBA.
No,
do
too
you?
They're not
much-
going to
too
start.
much revenue.
They're not going to start
No.
giving their money back. So no, that's
revenue.
No,
just
no.
like the NFL. They keep wanting to add games. I'm like, well, until you cut salaries, I guess that's what you do. So.
Yeah, they're going to get what they want. Come hell or high water.
That's it.
The other thing we're going to talk about, Brad Teague, athletic director for UCA, is coming on. Big NIL news out of Conway. Brilliant idea. The University of Miami kind of did something like this as well, although the difference is Conway, it's the convention center and visitors bureau there are the ones that are getting involved with the student athletes, 30 of them. I like that idea where they sort of now, and we'll get into it more, but including everybody, or not everybody, including more student athletes under one umbrella like that. I think it's a good idea. And I understand that there's going to be businesses that want to deal with just one athlete, which is fine. I see the advantage from an athletic department standpoint, like Brad Teague and that administration, I'm sure has had multiple conversations with businesses and other in the Conway area or Arkansas, trying to get not the one-on-one deal, but the big umbrella for all the student athletes to kind of get involved with that. So we'll get him on, talk with that, Philip Martin, Tom Murphy. I haven't talked to Tom Murphy in forever. What do you guys usually talk with?
We talk about Atlanta Braves at this time of year with Tom. Big Braves fan.
Acuna's
okay.
hurt, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll
Acuna's out for the year. That's right.
Ah, poor Tommy. Chris Doring, all SEC wide receiver, all SEC network analyst. He's in the studio I think he's in the studio 3-4 times a week. He's going to join us, talk to him about what's going on in the SEC, what he expects, his NIL discussions, and that's all coming up in the zone with Pigskin Preacher, Christian the Wizard Weaver.
And Sherry in the background. Good job.
Stan wants to give you a holler, Pat.
What's up, Stan?
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Oh, buddy.
Pat.
I'm doing great. Yo.
Hey, Pat, let me ask you something because my history might be messed up a little bit. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I probably screwed something up.
Jackie Robinson was the first player to play Major League Baseball, right?
Not the first player, but first black player. Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Who he played for?
The
Dodgers.
Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers. Okay. Hey, Pat, let me ask you this here. I believe that the Razorbacks can win at least 6-7 games this year. I think they're going to beat some team they supposed to beat, Pat. Let me hear you talk about that.
All right. We will have that conversation possibly after we talk with Chris Doring. I'm going on record saying 7, fellas. 7, fellas. I'm saying 7.
That's realistic. I think it could be anywhere from 5 to 9, depending on how things fall.
I love the 9.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, guys, we got Chris Doring. After the break, it is The Zone on the Buzz Radio Network. Welcome back into The Zone with Christian the Wizard Weaver, Pigskin Preacher, and Pat Bradley. And we are joined by my good buddy, all SEC wide receiver, all SEC network studio analyst, all SEC man among all men, CD Chris Doring. The man is still in incredible shape. He travels as often as possible. Do you still go to a Caribbean island each weekend, Chris Doring?
It seems like it's been that way. I haven't been outside to the Caribbean yet. I've been mostly domestic traveling here. Been in New York a couple times. I went to Tulum back in February, which was kind of a fun trip. But I
thought you go to the Bahamas every year.
I do. I usually go to the Bahamas like 3 times a year in the off season, but with the COVID stuff, kind of shut it down there for a while. Some of the resort is only open in a limited capacity, so I've kind of held off on going there. I was in Vegas for 4th of July a couple weekends ago, which was a good little supplement for my normal Bahamian trip.
My buddies just went there on Memorial Day weekend, and yeah, there's nothing shut down about Vegas. Thankfully,
the pin-up energy, PB, it is off the chain right now. There, man, it was a good time. But I'm telling you this, I should have let you know this already. I'm going to be hitting you up. I will be in Boston a week from today. I'm heading up there. Going to take in some Yankees, Red Sox. So might have to hook up if you're around, brother.
Well, Mike Morgan, SEC Network play-by-play man,
I know,
is going to be here next week. He's going to the Thursday Yankees-Sox game.
Yeah,
I have a basketball clinic. Did you really? Is he gonna? You guys gonna hook up?
We're gonna try to catch a drink. So maybe you're in town or you're not in town.
I'm in town. I do have a basketball clinic Thursday night. But you let me know. I'm close by. I'll be right there. It'll only take me 10 minutes, no matter where you guys are.
We will schedule off the air so we don't subject your listeners to our plans anymore. But I'm looking forward to seeing you, brother.
So let me ask you. Let me jump right into The other guys, I'm sure, got some SEC football questions, which we'll get into. How ridiculous is the statement of horns down during a game and the likelihood of anybody throwing a penalty flag on something so ridiculous of not allowing a player to give a horns down symbol to another Texas football player?
Why do we really care about that? I mean, like it's actually kind of fun. I like the horns down. I like the hatred that goes on. I mean, it's expanded outside of just Oklahoma. We've seen West Virginia players utilizing that. We've seen some of the other Big 12 teams doing it. So it's funny too, the contrast of last year where they kind of just decided to let everybody do whatever they want and have fun. They didn't. I mean, we saw guys spiking the football, which was typically taboo in the college game, but now we're worried about tightening down on the horns down. I mean, do we not have other things that we should be worried about that are more important than that?
Yes.
Too many things.
Well
yes.
said.
Go ahead, Pigskin.
Chris, did your time at Florida overlap with Bob Stoops, or did you leave right before he showed up?
Yeah, so Coach Stoops, he got there the next year.
Okay.
My last year at Florida was 95. He came in 96, but I've obviously, crossed paths and known him very well during his time at Florida and then beyond, and have been able to stay in touch with him some over the years. But, yeah, I was a little disappointed to have not been a part of the program when he came in because he obviously took that defense to the next level in Gainesville.
There was a funny story that he tells in his new book that came out about a year ago when he showed up in Florida, and you guys had put that fun and gun offense in. It was high-powered. Hardly anybody could stop it. And he thought, I'm kind of a hot shot. I come in from Kansas State with impeccable credentials. We're going to have a defense that's going to shut these guys down. He talked about the first scrimmage where Florida's defense was playing the Florida offense. He said, I think they went down the field like the first 6 times and scored touchdowns. They couldn't stop them at all. And he said Coach Spurrier looked at him and said, well, don't get all that upset about that. He goes, I don't think hardly anybody's going to stop us this year.
That was the attitude. Let me tell you what, and you guys know this, every head coach has a background on either the offensive or defensive side of the ball. And every head coach, when you're having scrimmages and inter-squad games and stuff, is their opinion of how that win is going to be reflected on the success of the side of the ball that they're most closely tied to. If we went out and the defense had any success in any scrimmages against our offense, particularly because he was calling plays, he looked at that as being a failure on the day. So it is an interesting perspective, especially when you're coaching with Coach Spurrier. It's all about the offense, and it kind of takes a special personality to be a defensive coordinator on one of his teams that he's coaching.
Mm. Is there a legend among the SEC analysts about Pat's pocket square? I mean, are these guys as impressed about that as everybody in the hinterlands is?
Yeah, impressed is kind of an interesting word. Yeah, we'll go with impressed. I mean, it's highly talked about a lot amongst the analysts. But I will say this, man, I am so blessed to be a part of what I consider to be such a cool group of people there in Charlotte. It's always fun when we transition towards the end of football season, when the basketball guys start coming in and we get a chance to hang out with PB and Fish and some of those folks and watching what the coverage of the postseason baseball, particularly out in Omaha. Our baseball analysts are amongst the best that do it too. So it is it's a humbling feeling for me to be a part of such a talented group of people, and I'm just happy to associate with a guy like Pat Bradley.
Nice.
Well, I'll always say the pocket square distracts people from my face. That is the good thing.
Well, after all these years, Pat, of being on the radio with you, I'd see you come in. You'd have some gym shorts and an Everett Mass T-shirt or something
right.
like that. I didn't realize you had all those nice clothes. I'm like, man, that boy cleans up well. Look at him.
That's right. I learned from the best. Those guys CD-ing them. They have to do it. Wizard, have you got anything? I'm going to hit on some NIL impact so far.
Chris, you were a great wide receiver. How do you feel about Traylon Burks? We've seen a lot of people rank him as in terms of an SEC wide receiver. Of course, they had, well, I shouldn't say of course, but they had Kayshawn Booty from LSU in front of him, John Mechie from Alabama. Where would you put him?
I got Traylon Burks as my number one receiver heading into this season. You know, I look at what he was able to do last year. He's big, he's physical, he catches the ball really, really well, exceptional hands. I look to see, what type of improvement that he's able to make this season and the adjustment to a new quarterback. But, in terms of the way that I stacked the receivers up in this conference, I think Kayshon Boutte a close second. I think Mechie's right there as well. But, I don't have anybody that I think is going to have a bigger season what Treylon Burks will this year.
Nice.
Chris, how have you seen the impact so far of the NIL? Some schools have – Miami's done a little different. In Central Arkansas here, University of Central Arkansas has announced their NIL for 30 student athletes. What have you observed that is that your take on the NIL impact so far?
It's interesting because I think we've talked now for a year leading up to July 1st about how it was going to change college athletics, and certainly it's kind of been the wild, wild west here in the first half of this month. You guys are calling me right now on my business line. I also own a mortgage company here in Gainesville, and I've been solicited by representatives and by players themselves about looking to partner in some sort of marketing way. At the end of the day, though, as much as we all love our schools and want to support them, as business owners, we're not, at least for me, I'm not investing in anything that's not going to give me a significant return on that investment. As much as I'd love to support the players individually, I got to worry about my bottom line here. And so I'm not giving away money in a willy-nilly fashion. The guy you mentioned down in South Florida who is essentially, signing an endorsement deal with all 90 scholarship players on the Miami roster, coming out of pocket over $500,000 in the first year. He even said, hey, I don't know if this is something we're going to do for the long term, but just want to give it a try now. I think when it's all said and done, it's only going to be a big deal for maybe a couple players on a couple college campuses. I don't think that there's going to be enough sustainability and interest from businesses to make this as big of a deal as maybe we were making it out to be last year.
I got to ask this last question. As a kid growing up in Gainesville, where was Tom Petty in your musical pantheon as a young man?
Yeah, you can't be from Gainesville and not love Tom Petty. And for a long time, that was like the claim to fame when you're from Gainesville. And in fact, I went to P.K. Young High School, and what we used to say is, oh, Tom Petty's drummer went here. Like he went to the same school I did. So we attached even another generation of separation from Tom Petty. But obviously somebody that we're very proud of here. There's been a number of great athletes that have come through the University of Florida and that have grown up here in Gainesville as well. But I would think he would probably be the number one draft pick in terms of Gainesville-born celebrities.
Excellent.
Chris, you're the man. I appreciate you taking out some time. Hit me up. Next Friday, we're going to make it work. It'd be great to see you, my brother.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man. Thanks, guys.
See you, man.
Later, Chris. Chris Doering, SEC Network, all SEC wide receiver at Florida. And what he said about NIL, fellas, what he said.
Yep.
I think people don't realize how important that is because I've said it. You have two types of people. You do have the people like that guy down in South Florida who I'm sure has talked with the athletic department and said, listen, I got $450,000, I normally donate to the athletic program to help you get improve your facilities, get the best recruits, however you want to spend it. So I'm sure they sat down or maybe he donates $1 million. And I'm sure the athletic department came to him with an idea and said, or somebody and said, listen, why don't you take half of that, offer all of our football scholarship athletes or all of our football players an opportunity to make some money. That will help in recruiting too.
Sure.
So you've got your alumni boosters side who will give anyway, and then you get your business side of people who will say, just like when they do anything on the bus or any kind of endorsement deal, they've got to make sure that the dollars make sense.
That's it.
And that's going to be part of it.
And you wonder if these big, heavy hitters financially are going to step up. I mean, Michigan's got Stephen Ross, who owns the Miami Dolphins. I can see him starting to pour money into this and give it to the football team. And you got to think Alabama, Nick Saban is lining up every heavy hitter financially in the state of Alabama for this. So,
and I think there's a distinct possibility that a lot of these boosters were giving them money before, and now they can do it legally.
Well, here's going to be the catch-22. Something that isn't talked about that often. A lot of these student athletes were getting certain benefits without having to do anything extra. Now they're going to have to do something extra.
That's it. They got to work for it. That's right.
As a former college athlete, after practice, after class, I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to sit on my butt, eat, watch TV, play video games.
Hey, Pat, you got to come out to the dealership and shake hands for 3 hours. It's like, I'm tired. I was eating macaroni and cheese.
Right. They're going to say $300. I'm going to be like, I'm cool. I got everything paid for anyway. Maybe I'll come out there, it's going to, I don't think like everyone thought the top is, the ceiling's going to cave in and this is going to be, it's going to be really interesting how all of the nuances really come to be through all this. All right, quick break. Yeah, go ahead.
You think eventually this stuff's going to level out, though? I mean, it'll go up, it'll go down, it'll probably find its happy place. Yeah,
I think there are some players who, frankly, are going to look at it and say, there's some things. Yeah, I'll sign autographs maybe once a month for a few $100s.
Exactly.
I just don't have the time. Or some will, and some are more outgoing. Some will want to post
short
Instagram videos every day. Some won't want to. Some aren't on Instagram. Some's personality is just not like that. I play with kids who are extremely shy. That just wasn't their thing.
Right.
So how do those kids? It's going to be some of the outgoing personality kids. So what about? I played with a kid, Derek Hood. Now, obviously, all McDonald's All-American, all SEC type player, but he was very much, he wasn't, one of those
lampshades on the head, that kind of guy,
loudmouth radio guys like me. So, but he was, he's 10 times smarter than me, hard work. He's all that. So, it's just going to be interesting now how a player like him would capitalize.
It's a brave new world, Pat.
Yeah, it is. Break here, come back. We will play the Richard Sherman, his wife, calls 911.
Ruh-roh.
And I'm sure many of you out there either heard it or heard about it. The dispatcher, just a head-scratcher in this one. Stay tuned. The Wizard will play the sound on that.
911, what are you reporting?
I need officers to my house now. My husband is drunk and threatening to kill himself.
Stop. What's the address? Are there any weapons? Stop.
There's no gun. I'm saying there are no weapons, ma'am. There are no weapons.
You need to stop interrupting me so I can get the information I need to get officers expedited.
I need officers here now.
What's he doing that you think he's going to harm himself?
He's being aggressive. He has sent text messages. I took the keys out. They're in your car. He's trying to leave now in the house. He's being aggressive. He's wrestling with my uncle. He's threatening to kill himself. He has sent text messages to people saying he's going to hang himself. He's saying that if the police show up, so please don't shoot is what I'm asking.
Okay, wait. Say that again.
He has no weapon.
He says if the police show up,
he said if the police show up, that he'll try to fight them. So they need to understand that he is.
Okay. Listen, and has it been physical with anybody there? You said he's trying to fight your uncle?
Yes, it has.
How has it been physical?
He just tried to fight him.
Okay, trying to fight somebody and actually being physical is two different things. How has it been physical?
He's pulling out now. He's trying to leave. He's leaving
what
in
kind
the
of car?
Maybach.
What kind of car?
It's a 2016 black Mercedes BB3425. Richard, please stop.
Boy. Hello.
BB3425. Richard, please stop. Please stop.
Is that a sedan, SUV?
It's just a black sedan Mercedes SUV.
Okay.
He's not going to be able to get out the gate. I cut it off.
What do you mean you cut it off?
I cut the gate. We live behind it. It's Richard Sherman. Like, ma'am, this is like a fucking emergency. I need officers here
listen
now.
to me. I'm handling this. You need to stop telling me that.
Okay, but what
I'm not going to slow help down. Talking to me is not going to slow help down.
Okay, well, what I needed to know is that he
What's
was
your
like,
name?
My name is Ashley Sherman.
Do you know what his date of birth is?
3/30/88.
Okay, slow down so I can understand you. What's the date of birth?
March 30th, 1988.
Does anybody need an ambulance there? You said it was physical.
No, we don't need an ambulance.
Okay. And he does not have any weapons or access to weapons?
No.
Okay, and how much has he had to drink tonight?
2 bottles.
2 bottles of what?
Ma'am. A vodka and Hennessy.
Okay, hard alcohol.
It's alcohol. He's intoxicated.
Okay, sir. I'm only going to talk to one person, so please put the phone
Well,
down and talk to
ma'am,
Ashley.
Okay, is the sheriff on the way?
Okay, listen, it's over on dispatch, okay? Talking to me is not going to slow anything else down.
If someone gets killed, bro, like...
Okay, I'll let you off the line. The officers have the information.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
That is
now
tragic. That is.
So we know that without having to get into the whole situation, heartbreaking, painful to listen. You know, Richard Sherman going through pain, clearly his wife, her family, just heartbreaking, that whole situation. How you unpack that, I don't even want to begin. However, I tried to see if we could get a 911 dispatcher, 911 dispatcher to explain to me how, like, I pray to the good Lord. I pray I never have to call 911. I never have in my life.
You better hope you don't get that lady. She was terrible.
Well, but here's the deal. Explain to me why you don't, at the beginning of the call, say, ma'am, help is on the way. I'm trying to get...
Exactly.
Don't worry. Help's on the way, number one. Number two, I'm just trying to get additional information so as they get there, they know what they're dealing with. Like, and was the 911 dispatcher tapping the phone receiver? Did you hear that? She tap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hello, give me your... Like, it's saying, do we have a 911 dispatcher that can call in and explain to me what the heck? Is that proper protocol? Seriously.
She kept interrupting. She did. If she'd have just been quiet, I think she would have explained the whole thing. Then she could have moved. So,
Pigskin, and say, help is on the way, ma'am.
Yes.
Don't worry about that. They're immediately getting there.
I know.
Tom
Crazy.
Murphy, coming up next.